Wildcat Overtime is brought to you by Golden Corral, Kroger, McDonald's, B-Dry, and by Dairy Queen.
$23,000 fans will pour into Rupp Arena to see not one but two UK ball clubs as the Wildcats take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. At halftime, Rupp's Runts will be introduced and honored, this being the 40th anniversary season of their loss to Texas Western in a heartbreaking but memorable game in the NCAA Championship. Hi everybody, Dick Gabriel and Doug Barnes. Let's talk about the matter at hand first, Doug. Kentucky and South Carolina, if the Cats want to win a conference championship, this is a must-win.
It really is, Dick. They have to have this game in order to get, first of all, you need to go 2-2, but it's, you need to defend your home court, and this is the reason this game is really so important.
Wildcats snapped a uncharacteristic three-game losing skid, including two, as Doug said, in the Southeastern Conference with the win over the Georgia Bulldogs in Athens. It marked the reemergence of Patrick Sparks. He really lit it up from the outside, and what a difference he is, what a difference this team is.
Well, it is, and it was so good to see Patrick, first of all, smiling and hitting the shots, and then second is smiling. But you could tell he's starting to get his confidence back. And one thing that's happening, Dick, he's starting to get better looks now that Randolph is back in the lineup.
Funny how that works.
Yes, it is. and the bottom line is, he just needs to go ahead and shoot it. But it was just so great to see him getting a smile on his face.
And he is a senior leader. He's a quiet guy who leads by example, and that's critical to this team.
It really is. And we really need his outside shooting. We need his penetration. He's a great passer. We just need him playing up to his top level.
And you also saw him make some great passes. They had to honor his shot. He got inside, dished it off.
Well, yes, and he can penetrate. He can create. He was just struggling. He just went through a long struggle, but boy, it's so good to see him back, and he makes such a difference in the team.
Well, he wears his emotion on his sleeve. If he had a sleeve, you'd see it there. And after the game, he did as well. His teammates celebrated with him. Tubby Smith there with the big hug. That was fun to see.
It really was, and it's just good to see that smile. But UK really needs Patrick going into this conference race because he can shoot that ball so well. You just need a great shooter like him.
Sparks and his teammates coming out onto the floor to warm up for today's game. After the win over Georgia, they told the media about the fact that the win in Athens really made them feel a lot better about themselves.
Yeah, we feeling pretty good. We just want to keep it up. Keep the way we feeling, keep it up, and have carryover until tomorrow.
We're still getting questions asked, but it's a better feeling when we win. It's just a huge lift off our back.
You feel as though it's been a turnaround, charade, or just a big game, or how do you think? How you feel? How do you think?
I think it's a turnaround, but it's too early to judge. We'll see the next couple of games and how we play in the next couple of weeks.
It's been a little bit better. It's definitely a better feeling. After a win, morale's a little bit higher, a little bit more excited to come to practice, a little bit more excited about basketball.
I guess people, started, relying on each other more, trusting each other more. That's a big issue. Just, learn how to trust each other on and off the court.
Was that missing then before?
Yeah, a little bit, because that involves, unselfishness on the court too as well. Knowing the next man, has your back if you get beat off the dribble. So.
Where was the team's confidence before Tuesday?
I still think it was pretty high. We still believed. We just tried, come in Georgia and get the road win. So, it wasn't that low, but to stay positive.
Did you feel like your backs were against the wall though?
Yeah, definitely. 3 games in a row. It was kind of hard, difficult going through that tough time, 2-week span with not winning the game. So.
The Wildcats, of course, would love to make to the Final Four, win a national championship. Kentucky has already won one this year, another one, the national championship among cheerleaders. Jomo Thompson is the coach. You guys have kept this going, Coach. How have you done it?
It's just been a lot of hard work. Good athletes like we have here in front of us. Part of the key, and just going out there and doing what we always do, practicing hard, working hard, and being a team, gelling together.
Obviously, you guys know what the judges like, but you have to recreate yourselves every year. How do you do that?
What I do, I like to draw a lot off the kids. A lot of them, they're so talented. They all have great ideas, and it's basically a collaboration. We all work together to put what we feel is the best routine out there, and every year it usually is the best routine.
All right, we're going to talk to some of the cheerleaders now. Give me your name and where you're from.
My name is Jenny Fleming. I'm from Snellville, Georgia.
Talk about the pressure you must feel out there, not only to nail your routine, but to keep it going here.
Well, honestly, the whole day of nationals, I'm really, really, really nervous, and I think we all are. It's horrible, but then actually once I get out on the floor, it kind of goes away. Like, we're almost like machines. We've been practicing it so long, we just go out there and do it. So it's not that bad once they're out there. Beforehand, it's pretty bad.
We're going to talk to your teammate now. Your name?
Mateo Alfano. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
You came down here to be a cheerleader all the way from Chicago. Was it about the trophies?
It was about the winning, yes.
Tell me about preparing mentally for this kind of thing.
Well, it's easy because you put yourself in that mentality because you know what you have to do. You come down here knowing that that's your mindset, and then you're just born with it. It's just that natural mentality you have.
When you walk into these competitions, people look at you, hey, that's Kentucky. You got to like that.
It's a great feeling. It really is. I can't complain.
Jomo, talk about how much work goes into this. I know how hard you guys practice. Tell me about your scheduling.
The cheerleaders, we practice Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have practice on Saturday if we don't have a football game, and then also on Sundays. You know, when we were getting ready for the national competition right after the Christmas break, we were practicing twice a day, every day. You know, we're 10 to 12, 6 to 8, and the reason we do that is repetition. To get them, we get one shot when we go down there. So we spend like 2 months, you know, perfecting this routine, making it absolutely perfect for that one opportunity.
Congratulations. Will you present the trophy today to the university?
Yes, we will, and be very happy to.
Congratulations again. It's the UK cheerleading coach and two of his athletes who won another national championship, making number 15. Back with more from Rupp Arena right after this. Much more Wildcat warm-up is on the way. Stay with us. Kentucky and South Carolina coming up. The fans are digging it in the eruption zone, and we appreciate their enthusiasm. They've been here for a while. That's something new. This was not here when you coached here, Doug.
Oh, no, but, you know, it was not necessarily the eruption zone, but I really worked hard at trying to get the students in the down in the lower arena area because, you know, you go to all these other arenas, and you know, they're right on top of you. Even here, you got something dividing it, but, you know, like in Florida, they're sitting like 2 feet from you, so it can be fairly intimidating.
Well, and we covered a game out in Allen Fieldhouse. You've been there many times. That's a tough place to play.
Yeah, it really is. I couldn't say anything about the game this year. We got beat 18 points, and we were lucky to get it 18. Of course, the good news is, Dick, we came back and had 32-4 season. So you can have those type of games during the year and come back from.
The Wildcats, of course, coming back from a tough run there in the early portion of the season to be losing games the way they were losing them. But one of the things you had to like about the win over Georgia is the way Kentucky rebounded the basketball, really dominated on the boards.
Well, Dick, I think rebounding, how much better we get at rebounding is one big key for our season. And, you know, we started really with Vandy. We rebounded even with Vandy. We out-rebounded Alabama 10 rebounds, and then against Georgia it was 18. And for us as a team, you know, rebounding, you know, if we can battle a lot of teams even, we're really in good shape. But it's really important, and I think the good thing for the team is we've gotten better at it, and we got to continue to get better.
One of the things the rebounding did was it covered up some sins, which it will do. Kentucky turned it over 18 times to just 8 for the Georgia Bulldogs, but got the ball right back when they got it off the board.
Well, and I'll tell you another thing good about rebounding, Dick, is if you have a good rebounding team, you just shoot that ball better. You just got a lot more confidence. One thing we told them is get that ball up there soft, we'll go get it and put it back in. So it takes a lot of pressure off your shooters.
Georgia, though, not quite as big or athletic as South Carolina.
Well, no, they're not. But you know, they were within 3 points of South Carolina. So, but you know, South Carolina just got some good athletes. They start 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and a sophomore. They got some experience. If we can battle them even on the boards, it'll be a big plus for us.
Tubby Smith talked about South Carolina's quickness with the reporters earlier this week. He also talked about the fact that after the win over Georgia, things were a little bit happier around the UK camp.
I think they did a little more, morale was up. Anytime you win a game, I don't care who was involved, it's going to be, after losing 3 games the way we had, their morale was up and their spirits were up. So that was important. I think hopefully to carry over into today's practice and in tomorrow's game.
Tubby said he'd like to see some of the good things the Cats did against Georgia carry over into today's game against the Gamecocks.
It's going to be important for us to grow and learn from the win, and hopefully build on that against South Carolina. South Carolina is a team that had a good win against a good Vanderbilt team. Whenever you can go into somebody's home and win, it's a good win.
The Cats were able to overpower the Bulldogs on the boards and wear them down. South Carolina presents a different brand of problem.
So their quickness is what gives us problems. They're so quick at the forward spot. You take a guy like Balkman, and and Terrence Kinsey. They're all very quick off the dribble, so that creates problems for our interior people. So we got to be real conscious of that. Like to take you off the dribble, so dribble penetration is something that's hurt us a lot this year. We have to do a better job there.
It's tough in practice, I know, to get what amounts to the scout team or the second team to emulate the opposition when the other side is so quick. Hard to prepare for that.
Dick, it is. South Carolina's really got a good group of athletes, and like you were saying, they got good size with it. And they've presented problems to us. Of course, they beat us last year in that last game, but they're just good athletes. And they can penetrate the ball so well, and defensively they can cover a lot of ground.
Kentucky's won 15 of the last 16 against South Carolina, but as Doug said, the last time out, the Gamecocks got the better of the Wildcats down in Columbia. They are coached by Dave Odom. We talked to Dave Odom in preseason about all the young men who tried to go to the NBA out of the SEC this year. He had to deal with that when Tim Duncan was his best player and probably the best player in the country at Wake Forest. And he talked about the fact that Duncan came to him and said, "I'm coming back for my senior year." And Odom talked about some of the reasons that Duncan gave him for coming back for that senior season.
The NBA can do everything for me. It can make me rich, you know, the bright lights. It takes me to places I'll never go. I'll have a chance to play against the best talent in the world. But there's one thing it can't make me do again. It can never do for me. What's that? I've never heard this before or since. It can never make me 21 again. He said that. The kid was 20 years old when he said that. Can never make me 21 again. I enjoy college, he said. I enjoyed things that collegians do. Springtime, throwing frisbees, sitting out there talking to my girlfriend, playing softball. I enjoy that. I can't do that in the NBA. I'm going to take back one more year and get that done.
Joined now here by Russell Rice, the former sports information director for UK and a longtime sports writer for the Lexington Herald Leader. And I know this is a special day for you because you were there front and center when Rupp's Runts were playing. And what has it meant to you to see these guys together again?
It's hard to describe. I haven't seen them in 40 years, some of them. Of course, Mike Pratt, not Mike Pratt, but Larry Conlon that time. I see those guys often, but not these guys.
How special was that year? Did that come as a surprise to you?
We were all very much surprised. I'll tell you one thing about them. They could pass that ball around. They were together. And
they were 15-10 the year before and then came out and put together an incredible season. What do you think made that team so special? You mentioned the passing, but there was more than that.
Love. They loved each other. They respected each other. They were together.
When they started winning in the conference, they really started to make a climb in the national polls and got all the way to #1. They were unranked and made it to #1. Talk about Adolph Rupp. You traveled a lot with him. How did he react to that? He had to just love that season.
He loved them. His health was failing a little bit at that point in time, and he was on the downgrade. So that lifted his spirits up, and he just became suddenly a different person about mid-season. I love these guys.
Talk about the NCAA tournament. I know how disappointing the Texas Western game was, but you had to beat Dayton, Michigan, Duke. That was a heck of a run.
And Texas Western wasn't that bad a team, I'll tell you. And we were ailing a little bit. Conley and Cron and Pat Riley's big toe, but no excuse. We were down, they were up.
Russell, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Thank you, Dick.
Russell Rice, the sports information director, long time at Kentucky, who, of course, has been part of the weekend's festivities with Rupp's Runts. They will be honored here at halftime of today's game between Kentucky and South Carolina. Stay with us. More Wildcat warm-up is on the way right here on your home for the Wildcats. It's Rupp's Runts weekend. There you see the team picture, the team everybody loved back in 1966. Just about everybody back for the weekend. They were part of a presentation where Bill Samuels presented a special Maker's Mark Rupp's Runts bottle. The proceeds, of course, going to the Markey Foundation. Proceeds going, of course, to help fund cancer research. And then later on, this is all yesterday, later on the players gathered at the UK Basketball Museum and talked about old times, swapped some stories, had a good time talking to each other. Everybody there but Pat Riley, who was scheduled to fly in today, but unfortunately Riley's team lost last night, so my guess is he feels like he has more pressing issues down in Miami. So almost all of the Runts are here for today's game. They've already spoken to the UK team, and they will be introduced at halftime here of today's South Carolina-Kentucky game. After the game, there's more fun to be had. Marilyn Todd's with us to tell us about the blast, where, and even if folks don't come to the game, can they come to the blast?
Oh, absolutely. You do not have to come to the game to come to Blast. And you'll see the coach, you'll see the players, you'll see Donna Smith, and have a great time.
Proceeds from the Blast go to what?
UK Children's Hospital and the Tubby Smith Foundation, and that goes to the children of Kentucky.
And where is the Blast this year?
Patterson Ballroom. Just go down the steps and you're right there. Jimmy Church Band, food, have a great time.
So you can buy tickets at the door?
Absolutely. $25 at the door. Children under 8 free.
You talked about meeting the coach and his wife. Talk about what goes on at the Blast.
We have a silent auction. We have a live auction. And as a matter of fact, Bill Samuels has given us a trip to his place. Lunch for 10, Hummer limo. We get to dip our own bottle, and he's going to autograph it for us.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Coming back, we'll wrap things up here on Wildcat Warm-Ups. Take a look at some of the action around the country and tell you what's to come with Kentucky and South Carolina. Stay with us. Welcome back to Rupp Arena in Lexington, where UK President Lee Todd is about to accept the trophy from the UK cheerleading squad. They recently won their 15th national championship. And just in case you're wondering, if you've been with us, we interviewed some of the cheerleaders and their coach, Doug, earlier, but we're not allowed to show any of the routine yet because that video is owned by another network, so they kind of keep that under wraps for a while. But you'll be seeing it soon enough as Kentucky wins a 15th national title. Lots of action involving top 25 teams today around the country, and all of the first top 5, the 1st through 5th teams, are on the road today. We could see some upsets today as Duke visits Georgetown. That's going to be a tough one for the Blue Devils. Florida, though, ranked 2nd, visits Tennessee. That is a dangerous game.
Dick, I'm picking Tennessee in this game.
Really?
And I know that Florida's the favorite, but I just think that Florida has been playing awfully well, but going into Tennessee, they got a new coach, new system, and I just think Tennessee well, of course, I saw Tennessee what they did to Texas.
Yep.
So they can really play well, and that's my upset of the week.
3rd-ranked Connecticut plays at Louisville. This should have been a huge Big East game, but the Cardinals without Taekwon Dean, that's going to be a tough road.
It's going to be tough for him because they just depend upon him so much offensively and his leadership ability. So that'll be a tough one. I think UConn will come out of that in good shape.
Number 4, Memphis is at Southern Miss. Number 5, Texas visits Baylor. Gonzaga, number 6, is at San Diego. Number 7, Illinois is at Northwestern. Number 20, Syracuse at Villanova in Philadelphia. Pittsburgh plays a dangerous St. John's team in Madison Square Garden. Oregon visits Washington. That's a tough Pac-10 game. How about this one, though? West Virginia visiting UCLA. That's a good one.
That'll be good. Of course, West Virginia is one of UK's big wins, and they are really playing well right now. So I'll be surprised if they don't go in there and come up with a win.
Let's talk about the Wildcats a little bit now. One of the guys you talked about earlier in the year was Joe Crawford. He has certainly borne you out. He's going to be a key player down the stretch. I've always liked Ramel Bradley, what he brings to this team, coming off the bench, bringing them energy, and he did just that against Georgia, coming off the bench and really keying a run.
Well, Dick, I think so. The thing that Ramel's doing, he's just starting to play more and more with a lot of confidence within the system. He's not forcing things as much. He's actually, it's strange. He's really kind of slowed his game down a little bit, but he's got it under control, and you can just tell that he just has a lot more confidence in what's going on out in the court.
I know that Tubby Smith had seriously considered changing his starting lineup, starting Bradley, bringing Sparks off the bench. Fortunately, of course, Sparks refines his shooting eye, but Bradley does bring that infusion off the bench, which is important.
Well, he really is, because he's got so much excitement about it. He's so quick, and you had his quickness with Rajan's, and you really got some quickness out there. And then it just seems like he just always adds a spark when he comes into the game.
If you were coaching this game today, and I don't ask you to put yourself in Tubby's shoes, but in a way I am, do you play more guards today because of South Carolina's quickness? Obviously they're bigger, but you've got to combat that quickness.
Well, of course, I like our guard lineup. I even like the 4-guard lineup. So to answer your question, yes. If you're having problems with that, because I think our guard lineup presents a lot of problems for the opposing team, matching up and matching up with their quickness and their ability to penetrate.
The guards also help put the crowd into the game. They get up and down the floor, and the crowd loves that.
Well, Dick, I think it's really important for this game. One of my keys to the game is for us to be ready to play from the very beginning. We've gotten off some slow starts, and I think with our confidence level, it's kind of been up and down. We really need to start this game off You know, and you do that really with your defense. It's not, you can hit the shots offensively, but you really do that with your defense and hitting the boards and your overall level of intensity.
Well, it's obviously made three-pointers help a little bit with that, especially if you get them on the run.
Well, those made shots really help any offense look good and any team look good. But I think the key, Dick, for us is that it's not to take so many of those.
Yeah.
You know, I think we need to penetrate and take them when we have them. But other words, with Morris, we need to be looking to take that ball inside.
All right. Coming up next, Kentucky and South Carolina. Thanks for joining us on Wildcat Warm-Up. Stay tuned, everybody. More to come.
To you by Hardee's, Kentucky's Big One, Paul Miller Ford Mazda Isuzu, P-Rats, the Kentucky Lottery, and by Sonny's.
The following is an exclusive presentation of Jefferson Pilot Sports, a division of Jefferson Pilot Financial.
After disappointing starts to the SEC season, South Carolina and Kentucky are coming off significant wins. The Gamecocks captured their first conference win Wednesday with an overtime victory against Vanderbilt. Tuesday night, the Wildcats also scored their first SECW with a dominating performance against Georgia. This afternoon, as Kentucky pays tribute to Rupp's runs, it's South Carolina and Kentucky looking for the glory road to victory. It's a day when Kentucky fans honor one of their favorite teams of all time from 40 years ago, the Rupp's Runs team, honored today. This is the scene outside the UK Basketball Museum adjacent to Rupp Arena a little earlier as fans lined up for an autograph session with, as we said, one of their favorite teams in Kentucky's rich basketball history. Inside Rupp Arena, Alltel presents the South Carolina Gamecocks against the Kentucky Wildcats. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rupp Arena. Tom Hammond and Larry Conley. A special day for Larry and his teammates on the Rupp's Runs team. Their 40th anniversary being honored today. And, of course, you already know about the Gloria Road film that has come out and has Kentucky losing in that national championship game. We'll talk about that later. But let's talk about this game, Larry. Both teams coming off much-needed SEC victories on the road earlier this week. Trey Kelly just took South Carolina on his back and carried him to victory.
Yeah, South Carolina, Tom, was really looking desperately for an SEC win, and they got a guard, a guy who usually dispenses the ball, who picked it up and scored 29 points against Vandy the other night. He was 6 of 8 from three-point land. He had an outstanding offensive game.
And Kentucky continues to work Randolph Morris back into the game.
Yeah, he's back in there, obviously having missed the non-conference schedule. Now after 3 games, averaging 14 points a game. They needed a low post threat down there, and I think they've got one now.
What about our Pontiac keys to the game?
Well, I think for South Carolina, they've got to be able to defend Kentucky's guards. It looks like they're beginning to pick up a little momentum on the outside. On the other side, I think for Kentucky, it's got to be Randolph Morris and continuing to play the way he's been playing.
All right, which team will be able to sustain the momentum from those first conference victories earlier this week? Will it be the Wildcats or the Gamecocks? We'll be back to Rupp Arena for the starting lineups and the opening tap right after these messages.
The Alltel SEC Game of the Week is being brought to you by Alltel, by Red Lobster, by Purnell Sausage, by Pontiac, and by Bell South.
From Rupp Arena, let's look at the starting lineups for today's game. First, the visiting Gamecocks of South Carolina. This is the second time they've used this starting lineup, changing a lot. Dave Odom has this season, but the second straight starting lineup consisting of Tisby, Wallace, Kelly, and Day, and of course Terrence Kinsey, their leading scorer on the season. Kentucky starting lineup with Morris. He missed the first 14 games of the season. Thomas, Crawford, Sparks, and Rajon Rondo was the steals leader in the Southeastern Conference a year ago and amongst the leaders again this season. South Carolina in the middle of that huddle is their coach, Dave Odom. Started to say you see the back of his head shining there, but that wouldn't have been kind, would it?
Oh, you're going to hear about that.
in his 5th season at South Carolina, his 20th season as a head coach. He's won over 360 games. And Tubby Smith, last words for his team. He's in his 9th season at Kentucky, his 15th overall as a head coach, and he's won 354 games in his career.
These are two teams that were desperately looking for SEC wins, Tom, and they got them, as you indicated at the top of the show. South Carolina seems to be in the habit of playing overtime games. They played back-to-back OT games.
South Carolina has had some habits of second-half swoons. Kentucky with a big lead in the series. South Carolina did beat them in Columbia last year, 73-61. And both teams have had trouble putting the ball in the basket. Mike Stewart, Rick Crawford, Carlos Reyes are the officials for this afternoon's game. These are the 10th in South Carolina's case and 11th in Kentucky's case scoring teams in the SEC. They do rank among the defensive leaders. In fact, they are tied for 2nd in points allowed in the SEC at only 61.8. Wallace will jump against Morris, a pair of number 33s to get the game underway, and Morris easily controls the tap. Rondo pass to Morris, who beat the defense down the court and slams it home.
How about the tap and then getting down there and catching the ball for the dunk? Kentucky immediately with full court pressure.
And off Morris, controlled the tap, sprinted for the basket. Rondo found him. Good start for the Cats.
South Carolina in a good motion offense. You'll see Kentucky play man-to-man most of the day.
Rondo went for the steal, couldn't get it. Reversed and nicely by Tisby.
Twan Tisby, you know, one of the things that Dave Oldham really challenged him this year was to get better defensively. I think he's better offensively.
Kinsey nearly took it away from Crawford, and then Crawford fouls trying to get it back, so it was a steal.
Watch this tip right here. There's the guy making the tap to the one side. Rondo with a nice pass, a good look inside, and quickly he got it in there before it could be blocked. South Carolina, one of the best shot blocking teams in the SEC.
Kentucky turns it over on the foul by Crawford. Here's Day with a 3 that's good. Dwayne Day, the sophomore from Mount Vernon, Georgia.
Tom, you can make a serious argument that Day might be their best player in conference play right now. He has been on fire.
Got his 3rd start of the season today and gives the Gamecocks their first lead 1 minute into the game.
South Carolina in a man-to-man defense.
Sparks and Rondo, they've been interchanging at the point guard spot, and Kentucky coaches think one of the reasons for improved play at Georgia was letting Sparks play the point, taking the ball out of Rondo's hands, letting him play the 2 guard. Sprinting down court, they get to the rim and draw a Kentucky foul as Kinsey took it in. And there's the first foul on Randolph Morris.
Go back and watch Dwayne Day here on the right wing right there, burying that 3. The South Carolina team shoots a pretty good percentage at 38%. They are a good 3-point shooting club.
Terrence Kinsey at the free throw line. Torrance Kinsey. His first name is spelled Terrence, but pronounced Torrance. I have to remind myself of that sometimes. And he hits the free throw, the senior from Tampa, Florida.
We're getting the Kinsey report right now.
Who is the leading scorer and one of the top 10 in the SEC, as you see.
Been down the last couple of games.
Yeah, he has
struggled a little bit. He had been in double figures, a little bit different. Sometimes plays a little out of position.
Shooting percentage going down as well. Here's Sparks bringing the ball into front court, guarded by Day. Now Rondo on a wing, double team, a trap. Throws it out to Crawford. One of the problems Kentucky has had offensively is sort of standing around, stagnant offense. They look much better in that against Georgia. 10 to shoot. Sparks. Tubby Smith wants him to take it to the basket more and draw fouls. That time he splits defenders to lay it in.
Sometimes he's a little deceiving when he goes in there. You think you're going to block it easily, and he's still able to get the shot off.
Scooped it in for his first hoop. 3-point lead for the Gamecocks. Here's a 3, no good. Missed by Kelly, who had 6 threes in the win over Vanderbilt.
Imagine Kevin Stallings was glad to see him leave town.
We've seen a lot of threes go through the hoop in the Memorial Gym, but most of them from Vandy. Double team of Morris. Shoots anyway. Can't hit. Wallace battles for the rebound, but kept alive. by Sheree Thomas, and then Crawford hits a three.
Well, give Thomas credit. There were 3 South Carolina players with their paws on that basketball. He got in there and slapped it away to allow Crawford to make that three.
Crawford's first trifecta makes it a tie game. Double team. Rondo nearly had the steal. Kinsey traveled. So the swarming defense of Kentucky, Rajon Rondo, causes the Carolina turnover.
Tom, one of the problems I think Kentucky has had, and you mentioned it earlier, is the fact that they just have not been able to move on offense. And take a look at these numbers here. That is staggering to me to see Kentucky in those offensive categories ranking where they do.
Worst shooting team in the SEC. So far today, they've hit 3 of their first 5 shots. So much improved in that category the first few minutes here. Sparks trying to drive again. Gives it to Rondo. He does penetrate. Slapped away from him by Kinsey. Tisby can't control it. Here's Morris up with it. Forces it up. Got it. And one.
I'm going to tell you, don't look the gift horse in the mouth. He got a break right here. They almost got the steal from Sparks. Rondo nearly lost it. South Carolina almost had possession. Morris is fumbling with it and still gets it up in the air and got a lucky bounce.
Tisby commits his first foul, and then Randolph Morris shooting for his 5th point of the game. And the Wildcats score 3 in a row to take the lead for Tubby.
Pressure again, full court. Good double team in the corner that time.
We saw that game at Georgia Tuesday night. Tubby was like the Tubby Smith of old. By the time the game was over, his shirt was soaked for all his sideline antics. Here's a 3-pointer by Dave. His second, he's 2 for 2 at the arc. Kentucky hustling down court. Thomas feeds it to Sparks for 3.
Well, Kentucky shooting the ball much better today.
What a lift for the Wildcats it would be if Sparks can continue the momentum. He had a breakout game after a prolonged slump at Georgia and opens this game with 5 quick points.
Crawford doing a nice job defensively that time on Kinsey.
Kelly backs it out with 10 to shoot. Kelly penetrates, puts it up, no good. Tapped by Tisby twice. Tisby down with it again. Tisby's follow shot over Morris won't go.
What an effort.
In by Wallace.
Wow, what an offensive effort that was by South Carolina. Tisby kept it alive and Wallace finishing it off.
First basket for Brandon Wallace cuts it to a 1-point game. Sparks for 3.
What has happened to him? Well, he has found the range, hasn't he?
The confidence has returned. Sparks being encouraged by Tubby Smith. Sparks saying to his teammates, visiting a sports psychologist, they said, keep your faith in me. And you could tell with a smile on his face after that great game at Georgia that his confidence and his pleasure in the game had returned. Pick and roll. Kelly gives it up to Wallace. Tries to spin his way in. Kinsey for 3. And Kinsey knocks down the 3-pointer. He has 5 early points. And the Gamecocks and the Wildcats trading 3-pointers. Here's Rondo for 3. An air ball there. That was an ugly shot as Kinsey takes it.
Compared to the ones we've been witnessing.
Field goal shooting so far from 3-point range. Wallace will try 1 from 3. Came out, kept alive. Kinsey and into the arms of his teammate. Here's Tisby underneath, fakes Morris, puts it in.
Nice move by Tisby that time. He knew Morris was around lurking somewhere for the block. Hey, South Carolina putting up a big offensive show so far with Kentucky.
Tisby with 4 points, Carolina by 1. Morris finds an open Rondo, tries another one, this one's short. Maybe he'll zero in next time. Crawford on the offensive board, alertly puts it down.
Rondo's long and short. The short one was better. They got 2 out of it.
Thanks to Crawford's offensive board, he has 5.
I must confess, I thought we were going to see a defensive struggle.
Yeah, well, not so far. Kinsey gives it up. 3-pointer on its way and good from Day. Day is 3 for 3 at the arc. And Carolina has a 20-18 lead. 9 points for Day on 3 for 3 at the arc.
We are seeing some firepower today on the part of both clubs.
spinning on Kinsey. Can't get the shot. Gave it to Morris, who fumbled it. He's double teamed. Nearly threw it away. 10 to shoot. Morris powers it up and one. Baskets coming fast and furious here in the first 7 minutes of the game. We're tied at 20. Back at Rupp Arena, where the Carolina Gamecocks and Kentucky Wildcats are deadlocked at 20 points apiece. The best of the conference presented by Chevrolet and American Revolution as we look at the SEC field goal leaders, with Tyrus Thomas leading the parade at 64% shooting. Rajon Rondo of Kentucky, 51.6, is Kentucky's best shooter. The Wildcats has already documented the worst shooting team field goal percentage-wise in the SEC. And somebody said that these two teams had trouble scoring points and putting the ball in the basket. Well, the first 7 minutes, South Carolina's hit 7 of 11. That's 64%. Kentucky 8 of 12, 67%. Who said that?
I'm not sure who it was, but I'm going to say that they were wrong, at least at this point. Pretty good shooting on the part of both clubs. Well, that's kind of like you. I mean, I thought we were going to have a defensive struggle today.
Randolph Morris completes the three-point play to give Kentucky the lead and goes to the bench. Replaced by Lucas Orbjut, the 7-foot junior from Poland. Also into the game, Robbie Moss, 6'2" senior, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and Bobby Perry, 6'6" junior, Durham, North Carolina. Sims is also in too, and Bradley. So 5 new faces for Kentucky. Raquelin Sims missed the last couple of games with a back injury. He's back on the court for the Wildcats. And Ramel Bradley, 6'1" sophomore, New York, missed at the rim by Bradley and then rebounded by Carolina.
Good catch.
Ronaldo Bachman, who's in for the Gamecocks, runs the floor but surrounded, so Day launches a three and misses for the first time after hitting his first three. Bachman knocked to the floor, and looks like Sims will be tagged with a foul.
And Dave Odom looking on right now with South Carolina on offense. Watch Bachman come from the left side to get this rebound. I tell you, he just flies around there.
Ronaldo Bachman is one of the keys to this South Carolina team, 6'8" junior from Tampa, Florida.
Very active player. He does everything for the South Carolina squad. Gives them a big lift, too.
Stephen McDowell, 5'11" sophomore from Indianapolis, is into the game. South Carolina today playing without Rocky Trice, whose grandmother passed away last night in Statesboro, Georgia. Rocky was very close to his grandmother. She practically raised him, his maternal grandmother. And so Rocky Trice did not make the trip today. Three-pointer up and good by Kinsey.
That may give him some confidence since he has struggled the last 2 games, not reaching double figures, averaging nearly 15 a game.
He has 8 points. Carolina by 2. Perry fakes the three. Dribbles to the hoop, came up short. Orbjut can't follow it. Still white jerseys battling and put in by Sims.
Caleb Sims in there. In fact, there were 4 Kentucky players in there on that offensive glass that time.
Caleb Sims, the junior college transfer, 6'8" junior of Vallejo, California. So back on the floor after the back injury kept him on the sidelines for a couple of games. Another three. This one back rim, no good by McDowell. And Orbjut the rebound. Three-pointer up and no good by Sims. Orbjut still battling and saves it to Sims. Here's Bradley giving it up. Perry for three. No good. And the board taken down by South Carolina. That was
Monconante.
Monconante into the game too. That last dead ball. Here he is coming out, being checked by Orbjut.
Good fake.
And one as Orbjut fouls him. Well, Torrance Kinsey of South Carolina finding the range from the three-point line. And then Raquelin Sims with a follow for Kentucky, tied at 23. Back at Rupp Arena, tie game with 10:40 on the clock in the first half. Look at the statistical comparison between the two.
Pretty even, isn't it?
Yep. South Carolina shoots better. Strength of schedule, 71 USC and Kentucky at 58. And playing an even game here so far.
Stats are even for the season, at least pretty close.
It's actually 23-23. I don't know where that score appeared from there. And Konate is at the line. He's a 6'10" sophomore from Senegal, playing in only his 11th game this season. He said the Gamecocks a bit short-handed today without Rocky Trice. Although Coach Odom goes much bigger, putting Konate into the game. Here's Kinsey out and Day in for the Gamecocks. Konate's second free throw also no good, and rebounded by Sims. He's outscored South Carolina in the paint 10-6 so far today. Here's Moss, cut off, bad pass, deflected out of bounds, but last touch by South Carolina. Patrick Sparks into the game for Kentucky, and here's Brandon Wallace returning for South Carolina. Randolph Morris will replace Orbjut. Morris, Kentucky's top scorer, with Sparks. They have 8 each. Top scorer in the game is Dwayne Day with 9 points on 3 of 4 at the three-point arc.
South Carolina in zone defense right now, 2-3. They match up out of this.
Sparks whips it in the corner. Bradley finds Morris inside. Nice shot, Randolph Morris.
Tom, there's the big difference. In the past, they didn't look to the inside. Bradley would have forced it and passed it back outside. They have confidence in getting the ball to Morris down in that paint area.
First player in the game in double figures. He has 10, and Kentucky up 2.
Kentucky still with that man-to-man defense. They have not changed.
Day for 3. Missed 2 in a row now, but skying up for the tap. Wallace had an easy one, couldn't get it down, and Sims gives it up to Sparks.
He may have been too high.
Bradley finds an open Sims, three-pointer. Ugly shot. Hit the backboard on the opposite side of the basket. It's either feast or famine from the three-point arc, isn't it? They either go down the net or they look horrible.
That's it. He's such a good three-point shooter early in the season. Not so anymore.
For the season, hitting 31%. McDowell launches a 3, and it's good.
Stephen McDowell only averages 2 points a game. He's above his average now.
And Carolina back up by 1. His first points.
Actually shoots better from three-point range than he does overall.
Bradley answers for Kentucky.
Oh, we got a barrage of threes going up today. We may have more three-point field goals attempted than two-point.
South Carolina's hit 6 of 11. Kentucky is 4 of 10.
Good motion offense by South Carolina.
Their offense looks crisp today. Amazing what a win can do to your confidence. McDowell with 2 to shoot, throws it up there, no good. That'll be a shot clock violation. It didn't matter, it beat the clock, and McDowell was way off. Morris had the rebound.
Nice pass.
Takes it back from Sparks and lays it in on the reverse.
Beautifully done. Patrick Sparks with a bounce pass to the cutting Morris.
Morris with a dozen, and Sparks with a nice assist. Fans appreciate a much better looking offense than the last time they saw the Cats in Rupp Arena. They had lost 2 in a row to open the SEC season to Vanderbilt and Alabama. 7 to shoot. McDowell, good under pressure.
Oh, that was a big-time shot right there. McDowell with a couple of back-to-back baskets.
5 points for McDowell. Cuts the lead to 2. Sparks lets it fly. Back rim. And Morris over the back of Bachman for the personal foul. Randolph Morris welcome into the lineup. They're using him more and more. That pass from Sparks gets him the reverse. From Rupp Arena, Alltel presents Southeastern Conference basketball. South Carolina and Kentucky locked up in a good one, a 2-point game. Watch for the Geico College Basketball Campus Tour, a season-long traveling exhibit celebrating the greatest games of all time. Go to jpsports.com for more information and to find out when Geico will be visiting a college campus near you. Kentucky leads 30-28. Threes have been raining all over Rupp Arena. 6 of 12 from the three-point arc for Carolina, 4 of 10 Kentucky. Larry, one measure of offensive success is assists. You see the three-point shooting we mentioned. Kentucky has 6 assists on their 12 field goals. Carolina 7 assists on their 10.
That's pretty good. You get anywhere near 60%, 65% of your baskets with assists, you're doing well.
Just past the 7-minute mark. Carolina looking to tie or take the lead in what has been a close game. Kinsey just inside the arc.
Boy, does he look good today. He's got his range back. He's got his eye back.
Looks like he's recaptured his shooting stroke. He has 11 to lead the Carolina offense. Rondo has returned for Kentucky. Thomas. Shot no good, but the long rebound to Orbjut. Then he throws it right by Rondo into backcourt. That's an over and back violation. Kentucky turns it over.
A little miscommunication there. I think Crawford felt that Rondo was going to catch it and vice versa. Orbjut made a nice move to come up with the offensive rebound. Look at Kinsey right here on the left side. Boy, is that a nice crossover dribble and quick. He gets that shot off. 6'6" senior.
Tie game, Carolina ball. Pitch it into backcourt to Kelly, who will set up the offense.
Not much out of Kelly today. They haven't needed him so far.
Not for the Gamecocks. Day gives it right to him, and it's ripped away by Thomas. So Kentucky turns it over, and Carolina gives it right back.
South Carolina back to their man-to-man defense.
6 minutes to go in the half. Sparks wasn't looking for the ball. He had been tangled up with Sheree Thomas. Rondo was expecting that he would turn around. He got a little tangled up, and they throw it out of bounds. 2 straight turnovers.
Yeah, exactly. Back-to-back turnovers for Kentucky, and South Carolina now with a chance to take the lead.
Turnovers all even at 4. Here's the situation. Orbjut and Konate wrestling, and they call Konate for the offensive foul. So back-to-back turnovers by South Carolina.
Senegal against Poland. Foul goes against Senegal. Konate picking one up. Orbjut with a nice maneuver inside, trying to avoid the foul.
South Carolina will get Bryce Shelton into the game for the first time as a 6'5" junior from Anaheim, California. Good three-point shooter.
Well, both coaches playing a lot of players in this first half.
Sparks after the screen from Thomas. Thomas had an open 3, passed it up. Here's Rondo. Spinning and pull-up shot, a good one over Kelly. Rondo's first bucket.
Tom, that was good defense by Kelly, too. He was with him every step of the way, even when he made the spin move.
Another wrestling foul underneath, and this time they get Orbjut. His turn.
Nice spin move in there. Rondo very quick to the basket with the ball, and Kelly was with him.
Orbjut commits his second foul. He'll come out. Bobby Perry comes in for him. And Balkman replaces Konate for South Carolina. Kelly again will retreat into backcourt to take the pass.
It's like a 30-yard down and out.
Approaching the 5-minute mark here in the first half. A seesaw affair at Rupp Arena. Kelly On the baseline, battling. Sparks turned him away.
Good defensive work by Patrick Sparks that time.
Kelly for three. Sparks made a run at him, and he missed a shot. Rondo the rebound.
Rondo, one of the best rebounding guards in college basketball.
Ranks 5th in the Southeastern Conference, averages 8 rebounds a game. He had that career-high 19 rebound game earlier this season against Iowa. Kentucky foul called. Or I mean, South Carolina foul called on Kelly, a hold on Trey Kelly, his first. Kentucky has committed 6 fouls. South Carolina has committed 4 now. Rondo had to tie his shoe before he pitches it in. Sparks, who's played the point most of this first half.
Kentucky looking at a South Carolina man-to-man defense. They're trying to match up out of this. They're doing a lot of switching.
And Kentucky's doing a lot of standing. Perry trying to post low. Here's a screen set by Thomas. Rondo with 6 to shoot. Gives it up. Crawford's 3, no good. And Sheldon the rebound for Carolina.
Kentucky was not sure what they wanted to do offensively that time on the defense they were looking at.
Kelly got a screen from Bachman, but couldn't shake Rondo. Kelly calls his play. Thumbs up. Screen this time from Wallace with 10 to shoot. Double team. Trapped. Got it to Wallace. Wallace puts it up and out of bounds. Last touch by South Carolina. They'll get it back with 6 on the shot clock. But first we'll take a break with 3:35 left in the opening half. And Kentucky holding a 2-point lead over South Carolina. Back at Rupp Arena, 2-point game, 3.5 to play first half. Alltel presents Text to Win SEC Trivia Challenge. Here's today's question. Leading career scorer in Kentucky basketball history is Larry, Valerie Still, or Dan Issel. I'll give you a hint. Larry is a courtesy mention on that one. Use your Alltel wireless phone to text your answer to short code SEC fan. That's 732-326. Or visit jpsports.com to submit your answer. You'll be entered to win a trip to the SEC men's basketball tournament.
I feel complimented to even be included among those other 2 folks that were up there. Oh, Valerie and Dan were great players here.
Sheldon, hounded by Perry, takes in baseline and stepped out of bounds. And a rash of turnovers the last few minutes by the Gamecocks. They are shooting well. They're hitting 52%, Larry, 11 of 21. Kentucky a little better, 13 of 25, 52%. Points in the paint, heavily in favor of Kentucky, 18-6.
Game has slowed, though, in the last 10 minutes. We opened up with a flurry. It couldn't have maintained that pace. We'd have had a 200-200 score at the end of regulation.
I like that.
That'd been fun.
Perry for 3.
Looked good all the way. He didn't see anybody on him, so he went ahead and let it go.
That's his first basket. Kentucky 5 of 11 at the 3-point arc. Carolina 6 of 13. Bachman, 15-footer in their offense, looked good, but came up short. Got a good look at it. Came up short, but the rebound fumbled out of bounds by Kentucky. Register now for your chance to be the Bell South One of the Crew sweepstakes winner. A lucky fan will become one of the crew to work with our production staff for an upcoming telecast. Log on to jpsports.com to register and for official rules and details.
Dave Odom's questioning Mike Stewart about something.
Trey Kelly has replaced McDowell for Coach Odom. He's questioning whether Perry's last basket was a 3-pointer. I thought he was very close to having a toe on the line as I saw it live. And
well, they're going to take a look at it right now.
You'd have to throw a red flag or any way to ask for that tape review. You don't have a little red flag.
Not anymore, but no, he was beyond it. He was okay. You can see the release right there. He was back of it.
Yeah. So it looks like the call was correct. Didn't take long to review it.
guys are taking advantage of this little period to draw up some plays and set defenses.
Gives us a chance to remind you that the second half of our All-Tel doubleheader comes up next from Baton Rouge. Should be a good one. Alabama and LSU.
Alabama really running well now. With Chuck Davis gone, they have won 3 in a row.
Including their overtime victory against Arkansas. And Ronald Steele hit the clutch free throws to put it in OT, and then a couple more clutch baskets in the extra period.
If you haven't had a chance to see the freshman Tyrus Thomas yet, you got to tune in to watch. This guy is really something.
Kinsey worked himself free and hit the shot.
Kinsey having a wonderful afternoon here in Lexington. He is really shooting well.
12 points for Torrance Kinsey.
Bachman out there on Perry a little bit tighter this time.
Perry lob inside. Ball fake, basket good. Sheree Thomas.
Nice pass. Perry to Thomas that time, and he kind of used his body to block. Looked like Wallace away from him.
First basket of the game for Sheree Thomas. Good balance scoring by Kentucky today, with 2 minutes to go in the half. Kelly for 3. He shot that one a little quickly, but no block out. Ramel Bradley unable to block out. And it is 14 now for Torrance Kinsey. And Bradley lost it.
Good steal by Day.
Kelly will back it out. Kelly get into their offense. Kelly open after the penetration, no good. Bachman's follow, good. Ronaldo Bachman on the offensive glass.
2 offensive rebounds in a row for South Carolina now. They've pulled them back within 1. See, they battle that glass pretty hard. Kentucky, a much better rebounding team in the conference stats, but today South Carolina doing a better job on the offensive end.
Kentucky ranks 3rd in conference rebounding. Carolina
steal by Day again.
Day does it 2 times in a row. Kinsey pull up. Yeah, he's still hot. Torrance Kinsey with 16. And Kentucky will take a timeout as South Carolina reclaims the lead thanks to the hot shooting of Torrance Kinsey.
I got to tell you, South Carolina will not go away. This is a club that won the NIT last year and had most of their players coming back. Struggled early in the season, but it's like they're putting it back together after that win in Nashville. They come back here and really challenging Kentucky and Lexington here today.
And Torrance Kinsey with a perfect first half. He's 6 for 6, 16 points. Announcers for this game selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the use of the broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. So with 55.3 seconds to go, Kentucky finds itself trailing for the first time in a while. 6 for 6 shooting, and overall 52% the Gamecocks, 56% Kentucky. Both shooting well from the arc as well. Kentucky just a little better and more points in the paint. But South Carolina has the lead where it counts. They're up by 1, 38-37 inside the final minute.
Well played first half on the part of both clubs. They haven't turned it over very much, very few fouls, and the shooting has been outstanding.
They both appear to have gained a lot of confidence with those road victories earlier this week. Kelly commits the South Carolina foul. That's his second foul. South Carolina's 5th team foul, so no shooting. Kentucky has committed 6. That'll put South Carolina at the line if they commit a foul the rest of the half.
Gamecocks have one more to give before halftime.
Sparks for 3. The defense sort of fell asleep, left Sparks room, and he knocked down the 3. He has 11 points in the first half. Sparks has hit all 3 of his 3-point field goals.
Well, Day just kind of backed off of him.
Here's the trap of Day. Calls it timeout, but he couldn't get it. Traveling turnover, South Carolina.
That Dwayne Day got trapped right at midcourt. That was a smart trap that time by Kentucky. They picked it up right where they wanted to put him in a bind, and they got him right at the corner there.
McDowell comes in for Kelly. Coach Odom not wanting Kelly to pick up his 3rd foul with 19 seconds left in the half. So Kentucky can hold for the final shot of the half. They've reclaimed the lead by 2. Perry finally gets it in backcourt to Sparks. Guarded by McDowell. Bradley to Perry. 5 to shoot. Game clock at 5. Moss's shot blocked by Bachman, and the first half comes to a close on that scramble as Bachman with the defensive play for South Carolina blocking Robbie Moss's shot as the first half comes to a close, one that drew sweat to the brow of Tubby Smith. His Wildcats lead it by 2, 40-38.
SEC basketball is brought to you by Bell South, by Quaker Steak, and by Geico. Jefferson Pilot Sports presents the SEC Good Works team, recognizing the superior community service efforts of league basketball players. Today's honoree is junior forward Ronaldo Bachman from the University of South Carolina. Ronaldo is an active volunteer for Camp Chemo, a summer camp for children with pediatric cancer. He's also a 3-year volunteer for Habitat for Humanity in South Carolina and the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands. JP Sports is proud to salute Ronaldo Bachman for being named a member of the SEC Good Works team.
Halftime at Rupp Arena as Kentucky shoots 55%, South Carolina 54%. It's a 2-point game, 40-38. Best of the conference presented by Chevrolet as we look at the SEC free throw leaders. Torrance Kinsey of South Carolina, second to Torian Green of Florida. Kinsey, 87% free throw shooter. Well, as we said, a well-played first half. Both teams which have struggled at times scoring points, scoring at will and shooting very well from both three-point range and two-point range. Larry Conley right now is out on the floor being honored with the Rupp's Runt team here at halftime as we take a look at the Advance Auto Parts drive to the SEC Championship standings. Standings entering this third weekend of conference play. With Florida still unbeaten, a big match with Tennessee tonight in Knoxville. Kentucky and South Carolina hoping to continue the momentum of those conference wins earlier this week. Over in the West, Ole Miss and LSU still with a perfect conference mark. Alabama has momentum, 3-1. They play LSU in the second half of our all-tell doubleheader today. We'll take a look at some of the halftime ceremonies when we return. This is a 2-point game at intermission. Back at Rupp Arena, 2-point game at halftime, and they're introducing Rupp's Runts, one of Kentucky fans' favorite teams from 40 years. Here are the starting lineup.
Number 10, Louis Dampier. At guard, a 6'5" senior from Owensboro, Kentucky. Number 30, Tommy Cron. At center, a 6'5" sophomore from Lexington, Kentucky, number 55, Thad Jarris. And at forward, a 6'3" senior from Ashland, Kentucky, number 40, Larry Conley. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1965-66 Kentucky Wildcats.
And Larry taking a bow, and Rupp's Runts. No starter over 6'5". You might have noticed Pat Riley unable to be here today as Miami Heat played a game last night and play again tomorrow night. The team, there's Pat Riley, and the team that was so much fun to watch. Unselfish passing, Larry Conley with the Baron, the team that finished runner-up in 1966. We'll be back. Today's telecast of South Carolina basketball is brought to you in part by the South Carolina Farm Bureau. Kentucky leading South Carolina by 2 at halftime. So check some other scores. Auburn and Arkansas are yet to get underway. 63-59 Clemson leading Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Duke and Georgetown just starting. St. John's bidding to add unbeaten, or to hand unbeaten Pitt its first loss. Iowa and Michigan State in the Big Ten. Big bulge there for Michigan State over Iowa. Ohio State and Penn State, with Ohio State leading. And North Dakota State ahead of 15th ranked Wisconsin by 16 in Madison. Surprising scores there. Here we're involved in a 2-point game at intermission.
SEC basketball is being brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, by Sonic Drive-Ins, and by your local Toyota dealers.
Halftime Rupp Arena, 40-38, Kentucky leading South Carolina. Good one here on this Saturday afternoon. You can follow SEC basketball all season long, logging on to jpsports.com. Look at the Toyota Info Center to see a slate of conference matchups, track season standings, find out where you can catch the next broadcast. The Toyota Info Center at jpsports.com, your online destination for JP Sports coverage of Southeastern Conference basketball. Well, Larry's back with us now after taking a bow with his teammates from that Rupp's Runts team. And as I said, Larry, to the audience, it was such a fun team to watch. So much passing. You and Tommy Cron, the seniors, sort of set the tone. Pat Riley said that that was really the leadership that they needed. And it's very much in the news these days with the release of the movie Glory Road. You've seen the movie. Of course, that's the landmark victory by Texas Western over Kentucky. 5 black starters, Texas Western, 5 white starters, Kentucky. How'd you feel about it?
I feel fine about it, Tom. I really encourage anybody who wants to see a good sports movie with a great message. It is an excellent movie. I just hated being on the other end of it. Right. You know, when you go down and you lose a national championship, but it is a wonderful story. Very uplifting to me. I think you'll really enjoy it.
All right, there's an endorsement for Glory Road. Let's get back to our game now with some Sonic halftime stats. Both teams shooting lights out, 54%, 55%, and from the three-point arc as well. Points in the paint in favor of the Wildcats. Carolina's committed one more turnover. Rebounding edge to South Carolina by 5. So close in the stats, close on the scoreboard, and a good one at Rupp Arena from two teams not known for their offense, lighting it up here in the first 20 minutes of play.
Take a look at the leading scorers right there. Kinsey back on the beam again. He's averaging 15 a game coming in here. Day with 9 continues his good shooting. And Morris and Sparks again leading the way as they did against Georgia the other night.
South Carolina fans happy to see Torrance Kinsey find the range again, and just as Kentucky fans are ecstatic to see Patrick Sparks back in the groove.
You know, it's interesting to me to watch Morris play, Tom, because oftentimes you think there's a little rust on your game when you're coming out of not having played any games. And he just kind of picked up where he left off last year. In fact, I think playing better than he did last year.
Well, it's interesting, too, because for the first 14 games of the season, his teammates not used to playing with Morris in the lineup, so it takes some adjustment on their part as well.
South Carolina squad has had some difficult times they've had to fight through. Obviously, the last 2 overtime games, they've won 1, they've lost 1. Really battled in that Georgia game and just lost in OT on a terrific shot at the end.
Levi Stooks hitting one at the buzzer from 3-point range to win it in that one. And second half have been tough for the Gamecocks. They've sort of had second half swoons in many of their games. Not at Vandy, and they hope to continue that today. They come back with their original starting 5. Kelly, Kinsey, Wallace, Day, and Tisby, who is tied up on the block shot by Randolph Morris.
This is almost like Wallace just turned around and put it right into his hand. Morris didn't have to do anything but just stand there.
Kentucky comes back with its starting quintet as well. That's Thomas, Sparks, Rondo, Crawford, and Morris. Thomas, lob picked out of the air by Wallace.
Two pretty good defensive plays by the 2 centers so far to start the second half.
He was picking an apple off the tree.
I know it. Motion offense again by South Carolina. Kentucky's in their man-to-man. Pretty good switch that time. Crawford picking up Day.
Yeah, Day came off the screen, was open for a moment, and then Crawford picked him up, and then South Carolina gives it up again. The first foul, or 5-second call. Is that it, Larry?
Yes, 5 seconds.
5-second call. Turnover by South Carolina. So 2 possessions for South Carolina. Haven't gotten a shot in the second half. Lob, Rondo from Sparks.
What an athletic move by Rondo.
I mean, after he made the catch, he almost hesitated in midair so he could gather himself to get the ball off the glass. Terrific catch.
And pass. That lob's pretty difficult to execute sometimes. Made it look good.
Kentucky extending that defense a little more this half.
Day. Rondo blocked it. And jump ball called as Rondo and Tisby were scrambling for the ball with Day on his back.
Well, we are starting with some good defensive efforts in this second half, but watch Patrick Sparks right here with the ball, lob it up inside. Look at Rondo gather himself there, and enough of movement forward to get it off of the glass, and then Rondo comes right back with another block shot. The tie-up will give the ball back to South Carolina.
Was a good catch by Rondo, as you mentioned, but, you know, I like the fact that Sparks put it where no one else could get it, but Rondo.
It's not often you do that for another guard. You know, usually guards are not the people who get that inside like that, but he is such a good leaper.
Inbounds play from the Gamecocks. Again, they throw it into backcourt where Kelly retrieves and comes back up against Sparks, launches a three. Good! Trey Kelly.
I'm not sure that's the way you draw up an out-of-bounds play. You throw it 70 feet, go catch it, and dribble as fast as you can to the other end, shoot it before the shot clock expires.
After that career-high 29 at Vanderbilt earlier this week, that's his first basket. It comes in the first 2 minutes of the second half.
Rondo trying to get through down inside. Nice defensive work that time inside, trying to keep him out as McDowell.
It's a step on McDowell, and the runner good. Determined play by Rondo.
Tom, he does that as well as any guard, I think, in college basketball, that runner. Because once he gets that first step and that dribble into the lane, he's very quick at getting to the rim and the release.
Kelly. Carolina would like to see him heat up again. Wallace penetrates. Nice pass to Tisby. There's a penetrate in the dish, and Tisby knocks it down. He has a half dozen.
Yeah, Tisby doing very well. He's a guy coming in averaging 6 a game, and make a move like that. You got to be open. You got to take that shot.
Dowell got the good assist. Here's the half-court trap of Sparks. Thomas comes to retrieve it. With a screen of Sparks, double team him. Finds Thomas in the corner. Three-pointer no good. Long rebound. Kelly has it on the fly. There, he lost it and did lose it. Stepped out of bounds.
Dave Odom not pleased with that. Watch Trey Kelly right here hustling back. That out of bounds play. He had to get it up and get it down. The shot clock was going to 0. And Rajon Rondo right down the lane with that little runner. Nice pull up that time. And McDowell did a good job defensively.
Kentucky, Crawford in, replacing Thomas. Bobby Perry's also in. Crawford picked up on the defense. Collision, no call. Basket good. Joe Crawford.
Crawford almost looked like he was in slow motion going down the lane that time. He had the ball, and there was nobody from South Carolina that came to stop him, so he just took it all the way.
Crawford has 7. 3-point Kentucky lead.
Still in that man-to-man defense. Crawford did a nice job over there on the opposite side, trying to shut down and hold down Kinsey.
Perry made a nice switch to cut off Kelly and help out Sparks. Taken to the basket by Wallace to lay it in. He just said, stop this if you can, and no one could.
Kentucky had 2 guys jump up there and try to block it. Wallace got it off of the glass before they could get to him.
Perry for 3. Offensive board, Morris. Morris forced it up. Tap now good. Taken by Carolina. Day is trapped by Perry and Rondo, or Kinsey it is, trapped and fouled. Rondo commits his first foul with 15:37 to go. It's a 1-point game thanks to this driving layup by Brandon Wallace of the Gamecocks. Kentucky with a 1-point lead, 46-45 over South Carolina. Today's telecast of Kentucky basketball brought to you in part by the Kentucky Farm Bureau. Bench point scoring pretty even today. Kentucky 8, South Carolina 7 off the bench. Just about everything is even today, including the score.
Well played game. Very entertaining. If you're sitting at home watching this one, you should be enjoying it, whether you're a Gamecock fan or a Kentucky fan. Although you probably want your other team to be up by 20.
Some of the scores flying by. Duke and Georgetown in a close one. Day and Rondo. Day gives it up. Tisby spinning on Morris. Good help from Perry. Penetration dish, an open three for Day, and he got it. Dwayne Day continues to shoot well from the three-point arc.
As I indicated, he has been one of the best players South Carolina's had in conference play, averaging 13 a game in his last 3.
He has 15 today on 4 of 6 three-point shooting. Backs it out. Wildcats down by 2 with the ball. Rondo penetrates, blocked out of bounds, not out of bounds, saved as Kelly came up with it before it sailed out. Underneath, Tisby and 1. Nice ball fake, got it off the glass and drew the foul.
South Carolina makes 2 big plays. Go back and take a look at the three-point field goal by Dwayne Day down in the corner right here. This youngster can really shoot the 3.
And what happened to the defense? Kentucky forgot about him. He was spotted at the arc, nobody there, and then Tisby makes the fake. Sparks flies by.
Pretty good ball fake.
Morris can't stop him, and he'll have a three-point opportunity as Orbjut replaces Randolph Morris.
For South Carolina, Buckman back
in. So Tisby a chance to complete the three-point play. Tisby, the senior from Kansas City, Kansas. College transfer in his second season in Columbia. Rimmed out, and Orbjut has the rebound.
It's been a real seesaw affair all afternoon.
14 and a half to go. Rondo whips it to Perry. Sparks lob. Orbjut missed it. And Bachman collars the rebound.
Perfect pass. Right where it should have been. Orbjut just could not control it.
Kelly with a crossover. Can't shake Sparks. Bachman's screen gets him free for the three-pointer. Trey Kelly after Bachman set the screen.
I'm going to tell you what happened that time. Sparks went behind the screen, and when he went behind the screen, it allowed Kelly to get open. Perry couldn't get there quickly enough.
South Carolina has its biggest lead. Sparks can't answer. Orbjut had it. And now Perry gives it back to Sparks. Rondo gives it to Sparks, looking for Perry. Got it into him. Passed up a shot. Drives baseline, feeds Orbjut. There's nothing there. Crawford challenging Tisby. No good. Tisby clears. Kinsey, pull up 3 is good.
South Carolina is on fire. I mean, they are sticking everything right now.
Timeout, Kentucky. 19 for Torrance Kinsey. South Carolina's hit 10 of 18 from three-point range, including this one to give them 56-46 lead. First double-digit lead by either team in the game, and the Kentucky fans don't like to gaze upon that. They're down by 10 as we look at the best of the conference, presented by Chevrolet, the SEC assist leaders. Dontel Jefferson of Arkansas leads the assist parade, and Rajon Rondo of Kentucky amongst the leaders, just under 5 assists per game. And a look at our top 25 teams in the nation, presented by Quaker State. Florida Gators, the only SEC team in the top 25. The unbeaten Gators, number 2, right behind Duke.
You now have a chance to see Florida on Wednesday.
And they visit Columbia. Carolina in the midst of an 18-4 scoring run over the last 15 minutes. And Torrance Kinsey continues to play a perfect game, 7 for 7 in the game. He's not missed a shot. He also has 3 rebounds. Deflected out of bounds by South Carolina. Last time Kentucky has lost 3 straight at Rupp Arena, 1926-27 season. They have never lost 3 straight home SEC games. Intercepted by Kelly against Sparks. Trey Kelly got it.
Bad pass by Bradley that time. Too much air under that ball allowed Kelly to get in position to grab it. South Carolina really putting it to Kentucky right now.
They lead by a dozen. Here's a Carolina foul.
Bradley on the out of bounds play with a bad toss right here. Kelly with a good grab. Sparks has no help right here. Good move by Kelly to get inside of him. Just good anticipation on the part of Kelly. Gets the pass and gets the basket.
Rajon Rondo returns for Kentucky. Sparks goes to the bench. A 15-0 run now over the last 4 minutes. And South Carolina also has cut off the scoring of Sparks and Morris, who did so much damage in the first half. Penetration, Bradley, nowhere to go. Lucky to get bailed out by that pass. And then Mr. Clutch, Robbie Moss, nails the 3. During his career, he's a walk-on. How many clutch threes has he made? Year after year, he comes up with one and see if that can ignite Kentucky. Day tries to answer, can't do it. Good block out. Perry and Bachman battling underneath, and the foul will be called on Bachman of South Carolina.
Go back and take a look at Robbie Moss right here. Tom, you're right. Bradley was in big trouble going down that lane. Had he not found Moss on that right side wide open, he was going to lose the basketball. Dave Odom complaining about that foul on Bachman right there.
Orb shootout. Randolph Morris returns for Kentucky. Just over 12 minutes to go. Sparks on the bench, so Rondo at the point. Moss thought about a long 3, but a little out of his range. Perry, nice ball fake, stepped inside the arc and hit.
Back-to-back baskets now has got Kentucky back again within 7. They want the crowd to get into it, and they do.
Kelly, nice dish, and one for Bachman as Trey Kelly made it happen.
Tom, how about the avoidance of the double team? He had the trap coming to him, and he went right down the lane.
Kelly with a dish. Bachman muscles it down and is fouled. He'll be at the free throw line when we return. Carolina leading 60-51. Just under 11.5 to play. 60-51 South Carolina. No second half swoon by the Gamecocks so far today. During the first half, we asked you this All-Tel Text to Win SEC Trivia Challenge question. The leading career scorer in Kentucky hoops history. We gave you 3 choices. Larry, Valerie Still, Dan Issel. And there's the count, Valerie Still.
Numbers had to come up, didn't they?
That was cruel.
Oh, you guys are tough. You guys are really tough.
Valerie Still, of course, Dan was the leading men's basketball scorer, went on to the ABA and NBA and became one of the leading scorers all time in professional basketball, over 25,000 points. Bachman completes the 3-point play. That was significant, too, because the foul was committed by Randolph Morris, and it was the 4th foul for Morris, who goes to the Kentucky bench.
Kentucky with a much smaller lineup with him out of there. Perry and Thomas now responsibility for doing most of that rebounding inside.
Carolina back to the 10-point lead on the 3-point play by Bachman. Thomas didn't quite know where to go. Found Moss underneath, and he scores and is fouled.
You know, it was a kind of a funny play as Moss was making the cut on the baseline. Thomas faked it to him, and then he got pushed in the middle of the back, standing down on that block. Draws the foul. Moss trying to lead this club back. Hits the three, gets the big bucket here. Could have a chance for another three-point play.
First foul on Torrance Kinsey. South Carolina has committed 3, so has Kentucky, as Moss shoots for his 6th point, hoping to complete the three-point play. Oh. Good. Kinsey trapped in backcourt. Moss defending him now. And South Carolina sets it up, leading by 8. Rondo knocked it away momentarily, but Wallace saves. Kinsey, that's his first miss of the game, but the long rebound comes to Dwayne Day.
Trying to show me a little something different on that half-court scramble that time defensively. They were all over the court, trapping.
Offensive rebounds in favor of South Carolina. Day's three-pointer is no good. And Moss has the board. Perry, they left him alone. Three-pointer good.
It's the second time he's done that in this half. You got to go out and guard him. He can make that shot. And he's showing them that twice.
He's made 2 of 4 from the three-point arc. And that cuts the lead to 5. Good switch by Thomas on Kelly. Tried to take the bigger man underneath and missed the shot. Perry with a rebound. Here's the outlet to Bradley. Moss for 3. And Wallace has the rebound.
That would have brought the house down.
And South Carolina will take a timeout.
Tom, I think this is a really good timeout by Dave Odom. He could sense things were not going his way, and he wants to get it back again. Good timeout.
Trying to break the momentum of the Wildcats, who once trailed by 12 and have cut it back to a 5-point deficit. And at the conclusion of our game, we'll take you over to Baton Rouge to join Tim Brando and Joe Dean. Second half of our All-Tell SEC doubleheader as Alabama visits LSU. West matchup featuring 2 teams favored to dominate the West. Tigers with last season's Freshman of the Year, Glenn Big Baby Davis, and the Crimson Tide led by SEC Player of the Week, Jamario Davidson. Alabama and LSU coming up next on most of these SEC stations.
And LSU may have the Freshman of the Year again this year. Tyrus Thomas, boy, he is really playing well down there.
61-56 here, just under the midway point. It's Donna Smith, Tubby's wife, behind the Kentucky bench a few rows, trying to help rally the Wildcats. They've both cooled off a bit in the second half, but Kentucky still well above what it has shot all season long.
Kentucky in there is basically a 4-guard lineup right now. As you think Crawford is one of the guards.
Sparks has come back, so Perry is the only really inside player, and he's only 6'6". 5 to shoot. Kelly does. Long 3 air ball. Saved in bounds by Balkman, but it'll be a shot clock violation on South Carolina.
Watch Kelly come around there, try to release the ball and get it up quickly, and he never even drew iron. What a play down inside there by Balkman to throw it back in.
But shot clock violation ruled, so Kentucky has the ball with 9 minutes to play. Hoping to cut into a 5-point deficit. Sparks, faked Balkman, dished off, slammed by Crawford.
Kentucky anticipated a trap that time, and they moved the ball extremely well. Crawford with a nice cut.
And Sparks with an excellent play. Faked Balkman and then dished for the slam.
Well, Kentucky has come roaring back.
Kinsey against Crawford. Feeds inside. Here's Balkman double team. Looks for help. Trapped. Calls timeout.
Go back and take a look again. As South Carolina comes out, they look for a trap right here. Sparks, good ball fake, gets Balkman moving toward the free throw line. That free Crawford on the baseline. Sparks has done a nice job passing the basketball today besides shooting it.
5 assists to go with his 11 points. There's a final as Pittsburgh loses for the first time. St. John's beat them.
St. John's beat Louisville this past week, too.
Ohio State over Penn State, and North Dakota State upsets Wisconsin. And look at this, unbeaten Duke trailing. There are only 2 unbeaten teams, with Pitt losing and Duke is trailing. And Florida has a tough game tonight at Tennessee. We could have none by the end of the day.
Exactly.
Kentucky in the midst of a 7-2 run, which has carried them back within 3 of the Gamecocks. Tubby's shed the coat and has been very active over on the Kentucky sideline. Balkman is fouled as he got it right to the rim. How'd they get the ball in right at that short range?
Well, I think Kentucky was so used to them throwing it in the backcourt because that's what they've been doing so many times. All of a sudden, Balkman just floats inside. Look at this. I mean, an easy one inside there, and he could not finish it off, but he does have a couple of free throws.
Bradley fouled him. Balkman, as you see, an excellent free throw shooter, and just as you say that, well, he's not actually such a good free throw shooter, and just as you say that, it does clang off the front of the rim.
One of the more active players you will see in the Southeastern Conference. Moves around that baseline, always trying to get the offensive and defensive rebounds, wanting to block shots. Fun to watch him play.
Drew a lot of iron, but fell down for Balkman on the second free throw. Odom and the Gamecocks leading by 4. Fans gasping as they weren't sure Crawford saw that pass coming.
He looked up quickly because he had 24,000 people telling him where it was.
Prompters. Crawford, jump stop, shot good.
Crawford starting to pick it up, Tom, here in the second half.
11 points. 8 minutes to play. Kinsey nearly lost it.
Nice switch by Crawford. He carried it.
McDowell called for the carry. Turnover, South Carolina. Kentucky with a chance to tie when we return to Rupp Arena. Alltel presents Southeastern Conference basketball from Rupp Arena, Kentucky and South Carolina. Former Kentucky coach Joby Hall in the stands today, and Bobby Perry's had a nice game off the bench.
He has. Here's one of his three-point field goals right in front of the basket. Off to the right side, steps inside the line with a nice mid-range jump shot. Goes back for another three-point field goal. Bobby Perry having another good day. Spreading the wealth around a little bit today, Tom.
Perry with 8 points and a rebound. Leading scorer, they have 3 players in double figures. Morris has 12, Crawford 11, and Sparks 11. Those Sparks, I don't believe, have scored in the second half. Kentucky with a 14-4 scoring run over the last 4 minutes plus. There's a better shot of former coach Joby Hall, 1978 NCAA champions. And assistant coach to the Rupp's Runts team honored today as Bobby Perry. We highlighted him. He knocks down a 3 and gives Kentucky a 1-point lead.
Oh, what a comeback by the Wildcats. South Carolina had put a big run on them, and they came right back at them.
Carolina led by 12, and Dave Odom has to be saying, what do I have to do to keep a lead in the second half?
You talked about it when we started the second half. Those second half swoons have really hurt South Carolina. Obviously, it did not in Nashville this past weekend, but Bobby Perry. Well, this is a nice move down inside by Rondo, kicking it over to the right side, and assist to Rondo, and another big shot by Bobby Perry. Look at Rondo looking across there. Pretty pass.
That last Kentucky foul, number 2 on Crawford. 3-point field goal shooting. Gamecocks have had 10 of 22. and Kentucky 9 of 19. It's a 1-point game, just over 7 minutes to play. Looking at this game, it would be difficult to say that these two teams have struggled as much as they have struggled mightily in conference play, and you couldn't tell it by this game today.
Not the way the two of them have played right now, particularly coming off of those wins that they experienced. Kentucky against Georgia, and of course South Carolina beating Vanderbilt. Dave picking up right where they left off.
Yeah, Dave right in front of us needed some help. Got it from Kinsey. Kinsey takes Rondo in and then dishes it off to Wallace. Here's Sheldon, a long three, front rim, no good. Rondo with another rebound. Bradley says set it up.
Kentucky having success with that four-guard lineup, Tom.
Sparks to Rondo. Bradley for three.
I'll tell you, they haven't seen shooting like that in Rupp Arena this year.
Kelly for three, answers with Crawford all over it.
Well, I'm talking about two teams shooting it well.
Kelly with 11 points. South Carolina's led by Kinsey's 19.
Kelly's had a good second half.
3-point shooting. Much better for the Wildcats today. Trey Kelly commits his third foul.
Debbie Smith stalking that sideline right now.
Sparks has to throw a dangerous pass, and Bradley lost it to Kelly. Here's Kelly pushing against Perry, gives the ball up to Day. Reverse, good. Beautifully handled by the Gamecocks.
Oh, how about Day with that move right there? This young man has really turned into some kind of player the last couple of weeks.
He has 14 points. Like we said earlier, he had 15. That made him 14 just there. Rondo came out, but Perry with an offensive board. Back up, good.
Well, I said they had to have somebody inside the rebound, and Bobby Perry, the lone big guy on the court for Kentucky right now, just got a big offensive rebound.
13 points, the most he's had since his career-high 22 against Liberty earlier this season. Cats by one. Wallace, a screen for Kinsey.
Better guarding.
He's hit 7 of 8 today. That one came up short. And a traveling call on Kentucky. A lot of white shirts there, but they just couldn't get it under control.
Go back and take a look at the out-of-bounds play. Sparks is trying to throw it in bounds. He's running out of time and just threw a bad pass. A good pick-off by Kelly. A better pass inside as Day finishes it off.
Kentucky gets Robbie Moss back in. Joe Crawford out. Just doing a little housekeeping on the floor there where all the players were on the hardwood. And we remind you that you can follow SEC basketball all season long on jpsports.com. The Toyota Info Center has all you need to follow SEC basketball. The Toyota Info Center at jpsports.com. 1-point game, just under the 5-minute mark.
Double high post for South Carolina. Watch the screen coming outside. They want to try to free McDowell.
Kind of a mismatch. McDowell checked by Perry there. See if he tries to take him off the dribble. Gets a screen from Kinsey. Moss picks him up on a switch. And Day, back up shot, good. How did he hit that one? Tough shot. Dwayne Day knocked it down for his 16th point.
What an afternoon he is having.
Here's Bradley, penetrates. No basket, foul out on the floor.
Watch again the maneuver on the right side right here. The back off, the turn, the look, and there's Day going back up again.
Bobby Perry gets a hand as he leaves the game as Randolph Morris returns, playing with 4 fouls, 4:26 on the clock. Perry goes out, having scored 13 points. Here's Morris quickly into the action. Rimmed out. And rebounded by Carolina. Kinsey took it down.
Boy, he had a point-blank look at that one.
Hesitation move. Kelly can't get away. Picked up by the taller Morris. Now Kinsey. Sparks has him. That's a mismatch. And he gave it up. McDowell. Quick shot. Rebounded by Rondo. Sparks to Morris. Lost the handle. It was held by Brandon Wallace. This one appears to be going to be played right to the final buzzer with 3:51 left. Back after these messages from your local SEC station.
The Alltel SEC Game of the Week has been brought to you by Alltel, by Chevrolet, by Advance Auto Parts, and by your local Toyota dealers.
Rupp Arena in Lexington with our producer Roger Roebuck and director Gary Clem, Tom Hammond, Larry Conley. Tubby Smith and the Wildcats against Dave Odom and the Gamecocks. It's been close throughout, although in this second half, Carolina at one time led by 12 before Kentucky came storming back. It's a one-point game. Kentucky's ball. Sparks fakes, fires three, no good. Has a score in the second half. Tapped in. Look, Crawford was up there, but it looked like the Carolina man tapped it in.
It did. It was Wallace, I think, that tipped it in. In that situation, you take the closest Kentucky player and credit him with the tip in the basket. Strange play. Wallace couldn't get control of it.
It's tough enough when you give the other team a couple of points.
Good switch by Crawford on Kelly. Switch back again. Moss.
Kelly up and under. Not a very good shot, but Day is there to put it home.
Morris couldn't control the rebound. It rolled right off of his shoulders.
Two teams trade baskets. Again, a one-point game. Sparks penetrates. Nearly stolen. Morris, and then it is stolen by Wallace. Here's a two-on-one break. Kelly. And a count and a blocking foul on Kentucky's Bradley.
Well, Kelly has been outstanding in the second half, pushing the ball down the floor and getting to the rim. Go back and take a look at that tip in by South Carolina's Brandon Wallace. You can see him right there. He goes up, and he just could not get control of it. He knew he tipped it in. Good steal right here. And watch Kelly again push this ball. Time and again in this second half tonight, or this afternoon, he has really been the guy who has really forced the action. Any turnover, anytime there's a loose ball, he seems to be the guy out in front with the basketball.
Morris and Sparks back to the Kentucky bench. Perry's back in for Kentucky. Tisby goes out for Carolina. McDowell is in. Trey Kelly, 83% shooter on the season. First trip to the line today. He's been hot here in the second half. Dave Odom trying to maintain his team's poise, and they're on a 12-4 run.
Well, there's been a series of runs in this second half, large runs from both clubs.
The lead is 4.
Zone defense by South Carolina.
Crawford to Perry for 3. That one kicks high, and Wallace way up for the rebound.
One thing Brandon Wallace can do, he can get up. I mean, he can rebound the basketball for South Carolina.
Looking down toward the 2-minute mark. Kentucky trailing by 4. They need a stop here at home, in danger of losing 3 straight home SEC games for the first time in their history. Crossover dribble, got him free for the shot, but he missed it. Kinsey couldn't connect. Rebound saved by Crawford. Gets it to Bradley. Numbers for the Cats. Bradley lays it in.
Nice ball fake by Bradley. He showed it to the middle and pulled it back.
And Kentucky calls a timeout.
Was a good save by Crawford on the sideline over there. I thought it was going to go out of bounds. Watch him come up, look up the floor. Now watch him get it to Bradley. Watch this ball fake by Bradley. Into the middle. Boom. Gets the guy to fake, takes it, and then goes and lays it in. Kentucky now within 2.
1 minute, 43 seconds left.
Good ball game today.
And coming up next should be another good one, as Alabama losing their best player, Chuck Davis, and then have reeled off 3 SEC wins in a row as they meet the very talented Bayou Bengals of LSU, playing at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center in Baton Rouge. That's coming up next here on most of these Jefferson Pilot stations.
Those were the 2 clubs that everybody talked about at the beginning of the season.
Anxious moments for Donna Smith, and her husband Tubby is another wet dress shirt, as he did Georgia, as he worked the sidelines. He's been working it here too, and this Kentucky team, I'm sure they dreamt of making history, but they're about, unless they can rally, to make some dubious history here by becoming the first ever Kentucky team in their long and storied history to lose 3 straight home SEC games. They still have over a minute and a half to get it done. South Carolina hoping to hold on for its 2nd straight road SEC win. And an offensive foul called on Dwayne Day of South Carolina.
I think Day hooked.
They owed him. That was not a mirthful laugh, as they called Day for using his off arm to hook the defender. That pretty well sums up the feelings of the South Carolina coach.
Big possession here for Kentucky.
Rondo can't penetrate, gives it to Crawford. Again playing without their big man Morris. Crawford gets it to the hoop. It'll count and 1.
Kentucky does a lot of isolation moves using all of their guards. Crawford, one of the best at it. Rondo, Bradley, all 3 very capable of doing that move. Just spread it out, open it up, and let the guy take him one-on-one. Nice move by Crawford.
Day commits the foul, giving Crawford a 3-point opportunity. He has 15 points today. He could give Kentucky the lead. 75% at the line this season, at the stripe for the first time.
Joe Crawford having one of his best games of the year so far, too.
Earlier this season had a career-high 23 against Ohio. Been in a slump. Missed the free throw. Carolina's ball. Minute 10, and we're tied at 74. Matchup with just under a minute to play now.
Rondo, a very strong defensive player. Bad switch there for Perry.
Perry picks him up on the switch, and Kelly takes him inside. Gives it up to Kinsey. Here's Wallace, open 3. Air ball, but an offensive board. Missed it underneath. Kept alive by Tisby. He missed. Here's Kinsey, and he's fouled. Boy, South Carolina hits the offensive glass.
They had 4 different guys going up there to get that rebound. Park maybe. As you see the shot go up, I think what happened here is the smaller lineup really affected Kentucky. South Carolina used their bigger people to get the rebounds, and then the foul was committed right at the end.
So Kinsey still perfect at the line. He's hit all 3 of them. In fact, Kinsey has missed only 4 shots all day.
For the Cats, Randolph Morris checks in the lineup.
He has 20 points. Randolph Morris is going to come back in, and Moss to the bench. Kinsey shooting for 21. Georgetown still leads Duke. Auburn up on Arkansas early. Kinsey with 2 clutch free throws for the Gamecocks, and they're back up by a deuce. Rondo let the ball roll, and so the clock wouldn't start. Picks it up, gives it. Here's Sparks. That's a way long 3. Got it!
What a shot! Are you kidding me?
Absolutely unconscious. Patrick Sparks with his first basket of the second half. Way behind the three-point arc.
Folks, I want you to watch this shot. He is a long way from that three-point line. It took about 3 seconds for the ball to get there. Look how far back he is. Now watch this. Rondo turns. Crawford gives it to him. I mean, what is he, 27, 28 feet? I mean, he is a long way from that three-point line.
I can't count that high.
And you're right. I mean, he had ice water in his veins when he let that one go.
And his first basket of the second half. 14 points for Sparks. Kentucky by 1 with 31.1 seconds. And now W. Smith calls on his defense. What a fun game this has been.
Oh, it's been wonderful. You almost hate for a team to lose this game. Kentucky with full court pressure.
Kinsey says clear out, I'll bring it up. And then he gives it to Kelly. He's guarded by Rondo.
Bad switch for Morris.
Randolph Morris says to Rondo, come get him back. Penetration, Kelly. Tisby colliding with Morris. It looked like both a walk and a foul. It'll be 5 on Randolph Morris as he fouls out of the game with 9.9 seconds. That was...
Watch this one underneath. You'll get a good look.
Collision, feet shuffle. I don't know.
It almost looks as if he traveled before the foul. No question Morris fouled.
I didn't think they were going to call anything for a moment. And you had to call something.
I'll tell you what, if we could see that again, Roger Roebuck, our producer, I would love to come back and watch that one again on the baseline, because that may be the key play of this game. Watch it again now. You'll see right here. Wallace is going to get it. Now Morris is going to come back. Watch his feet. It almost looks like Tommy traveled before the foul was committed. But it doesn't make any difference. Morris did foul him. There is no doubt about that.
It's the 5th on Randolph Morris, so he's out of the game. Sheree Thomas has come on. 9.9 seconds. Kentucky leads by 1. Here's Tisby at the line. He's not a good free throw shooter. That one looked awfully good to tie it for South Carolina. So only 57% for the season. He's ready for the second one. Gamecocks, 12 free throws, only 4 by Kentucky. Second one also good. As Antoine Tisby, the senior, steps to the line with 2 pressure free throws. The man that hits less than 60% at the line knocks down 2, and with 9.9 seconds, Carolina leads it by 1.
Well, Tisby really put himself in a good position that time to draw those fouls. Anytime you're down low like that, you got a chance of getting fouled. You got to be able to make those free throws. Tom was right. Tisby not a very good free throw shooter, but big ones there.
What about Kentucky only shooting 4 free throws at home today, hitting 2 of 4, while South Carolina 9 of 13. 1-point game right down to the final horn, as we thought it would be. And perhaps this next one will be too. From Baton Rouge, Alabama and LSU coming up next on most of these Jefferson Pilot SEC stations. Well, 9.9. Plenty of time.
I've got to say, partner, early in this conference season, you and I have had some bangers here. We have had some terrific basketball games in this league so far.
Well, the consensus of opinion is that the Southeastern Conference perhaps is not as strong as it often is. Only one team in the top 25 at the moment, unbeaten Florida. But you'd have to say pretty well matched, certainly. And some teams about to break through, the LSUs and maybe the Alabamas, the Tennessees. Maybe Kentucky and South Carolina. Boy, they certainly played today like They should be right in the thick of things, even though they reside somewhere at the bottom of the Eastern Division standings.
Well, we're down to it. 9.9 seconds to go.
One timeout left for each team. A little token backcourt pressure here from the Gamecocks. South Carolina has committed 18 fouls. Crawford gets it to Rondo. And Rondo quickly up court. Still has it. Rondo shoots a three. Got it! Rondo, what a move. Turns, looks, gets it off with a hand in his face. Nothing but net. It was almost a desperation shot. And how many times has his shooting been criticized by Kentucky fans? And everyone says that's the only flaw in his game. He and Sparks, with two unconscious three-pointers down the stretch for the Wildcats, have given them a 2-point lead with 1.2 seconds to play.
Sent 24,000 fans deliriously up out of their seats. They are on their feet here at Rupp Arena. What a shot by Rondo. Watch it again.
They're checking the clock, and his feet well behind the line.
Ball goes through 1.8. It looks like when it goes through, somewhere between 1.6 and 1.8.
And how about split the difference? Put 1.4 on the clock.
Put it up. What a shot by Rondo. Any chance we can play a second game here? We can sit around and stay around and watch these two play some more.
Let them play two.
Wow.
Ernie Banks says let them play two.
South Carolina have one more gasp, one more shot left in them.
And now Tubby's going to call a timeout. You see him signaling for the timeout. He gets it. That's Kentucky's final timeout. So our Red Lobster nothing but net shot of the game.
You know, we've got a couple we could really pick from. You talked about Sparks, but it had to be Rondo's shot right here. I mean, this is incredible. Running out of time, he turns, he looks, with nothing but hit the bottom of the net. Wow.
On the 40th anniversary of the Rupp's Runts team, a Kentucky squad in danger of making history by losing 3 straight SEC home games. Come up with 2 incredible clutch shots by first Sparks and then Rondo. And stay tuned. Alabama and LSU poised to come up next on most of these stations. They have a hard time topping this one.
Well, we wish Tim and Joe the best down there, but we know that we've had a better game. But who knows? Maybe that one may be better. I got to tell you what, those 2 shots by Sparks and Rondo were just incredible. I mean, they've got a chance to go down losing a game and moving to 1-3 in the conference. And instead, Sparks with that long 3-point shot, and then Rondo with that left winger. That was really something.
And South Carolina saying, what do we have to do? Here's Sparks. He was so far behind the arc, he was near Georgetown, Kentucky.
Here's Rondo on the other side. Look at this maneuver right here. He's coming back. He knows he's running out of time. He's got to release it. Wow, terrific shot. That's nothing but skill, Tom. That's what that is.
And South Carolina basically has done nothing wrong.
No, their defense was outstanding on Rondo. And you don't expect Sparks to take a shot that far out.
And you don't expect Rondo to take one at all from 3-point range. He's a 28% 3-point shooter. Game on the line. Defender in his face. Time running down. Wow. Kentucky will not guard Wallace, who will throw the ball inbounds. They have Bobby Perry back in a safety position under the South Carolina basket. Into Kinsey. Kelly couldn't get it away. No shot. South Carolina is snake bitten. They have done everything they can do, and they still come away 1 or 2 point losers on the Rondo three-pointer. Tom Hammond for Larry Conley. Hope you enjoy the game. Stay tuned for more.